Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and you. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us attorney David Nachman. David, welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Now remember, we in the last couple of programs we were doing about the myths. Myths, what are the myths that we were talking about?
Well, we talked about the myths of individuals thinking that they could do certain things, go to the U.S. consulate and automatically get a visa.
Assuming,
what is a myth?
Assuming something which may or may not be correct.
Correct. That's what a myth is, right? I got it.
Okay, so let's start today program first of all. Wishing all our viewers a very happy Father's Day. All the fathers who are watching the program.
Happy Father's Day.
To all the kids.
Happy Father's Day.
To all the kids, to make sure you take care of your father today and for the rest of the life to come.
Exactly. Happy Father's Day to everyone.
Okay, let's start with some of the other myths that we can discuss.
And also, Michael, we should let our viewers know that I am actually in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend for the American Immigration Lawyers Conference, which is a conference of all the immigration lawyers from throughout the United States, where we get together and have an opportunity to share information about the various district offices and how they run. And this year, actually, I'm attending as the New Jersey chapter chair.
Congrats.
Thank you. So
basically what happens, and we have been doing for many years, after the ILA conference, whatever materials then become available, that we can talk about the new changes and all that, and we'll give you more and more valuable information going forward.
So our viewers should have an opportunity to hear some more cutting-edge information in the weeks to come.
Okay. So what's the myth for today?
Well, today's myth is, my B1, B2 visa has been denied more than 4 times under 214B of the INA. I've provided all relevant documents and responded to all questions properly, but the consular official does not look at any of the documents, surprise, surprise, and does not seem to give me enough time to explain my situation. I've requested my brother, who's a U.S. citizen, to contact the U.S. senator or congressman to intervene and to ask the consul to issue the visa. I'm sure then that the visa is going to be issued.
Absolutely not true. And this is a myth that a lot of people think that I will go to a senator or a congressman and he's going to tell the American consul issue the visa. That's not the way it works. Well, before that, let me go back to this question about documents and about didn't give you a chance to speak anything.
Explain yourself, yeah.
The documents have always been in the policy in the last few years. The consuls does not have the time to look at the documents. They have clearly told us that they just interview the person 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes and make the decision based upon what they say.
Right, and we're not saying don't bring the documents with you. We're saying bring the documents, but that should not be the thrust of the interview.
And I'll tell you why they don't want to look at the documents, because they think that applicants can make any kind of documents that they think will convince us. Right. So they're not even really looking at the credibility, believing the credibility. So that's one of the reasons. The second is time. They don't have so much time. The same answer goes about why did not give me a chance to speak. Listen, 1,400 people, 1,500 people sometimes on the line outside for hours.
In one day.
They have to interview everybody the same day, not to come back tomorrow. So they can't just listen to you 20 minutes of your presentation. They don't want you to talk anything. They want to only ask you the question, you answer the questions. They want to look at the documents, you show them the documents. You try to make a little more noise, they'll call a security to take him out. I've seen those cases. How can you do that? How can you do that? Why can you do that? Right. Don't I have the right to? When you start that kind of dialogue, they call a security to show you the door.
Right.
Now, this question about senators and congressmen, it's a myth. The American consuls under the Immigration Act have the complete sole powers. You can say they are the kings, they are dictators, they have the full right. Nobody can ever tell them to issue. Even a senator, congressman does not tell them to issue. They always tell them that you please look at this case, review it, let us know the status. The consuls have a standard reply that's sent to every senator, congressman. We thank you very much for your inquiry. We have reviewed this matter again, and we believe that your constituent does not meet the requirements of the law or was not able to overcome the section 214B, and therefore he could not be granted the visa. He is welcome to apply again anytime, and we will consider this at any time. That's a standard.
But what is the advantage of doing a congressional inquiry? Because there are certain advantages.
Certain cases.
Yeah.
The case has been pending, immigrant visa cases especially, been pending for a long, long time. Consul is not making a decision. So the senator can say, why make a decision? No, whatever. Now, consul says investigation cases is still under investigation, 1 time, 2 times. But they cannot be just holding on for life, the investigation.
Right.
And by the way, there's a court case recently. You know that there's a federal case court in which a 221G was kept pending, and the person went to the federal court, and the federal court says, yes, it's not a final decision, keep pending, we have a jurisdiction, and they told the Department of State that you must make a decision. Deny it, then deny it. Issue it or deny it.
Right. It was almost like a Marbury versus Madison, where they said it was going back to a declaratory judgment or a writ of mandamus, ordering the government to do something. You can't just sit on it and do nothing.
I'll tell you an interesting story. I'm sorry, not a story. A real case. Real case I'm telling you. I'm going back maybe 15, 20 years ago. Senator Moynihan, I can say this now, the old historian, he's no longer here. Senator Moynihan at that time was interested in that case. This person was denied a student visa 3 times in India. I cannot tell you the name of the post, but anyhow.
Okay.
Senator Moynihan sent a request to the consulate and ambassador also to look at this case. Of course, as I said, they cannot say issue the visa. Senators or congressmen don't have the authority to order the consuls.
Right.
And didn't do anything. Somehow, another congressman, they kept the case pending and saying this and that. The chairman of one of the important committees, the senator went to have a meeting with the Prime Minister of India and the top officials. He was also influenced. Somehow this uncle was a big person here, and he was able to ask the senator, ask that congressman to please intervene. So he asked the chief of the ambassador also, I want to talk to this consul that has been denying this visa. And Senator Moynihan also said that nobody's working on this. I want to know. So he said, okay, sir. Yes, sir. So they told the consul, you go to this hotel and the senator wants to meet you. A young guy. I know him also. The consul, I met him. He was kind of firm guy. Mm-hmm. A nice guy to us, but in terms of his decision, he went there. He was sitting outside in the lobby for 3 hours. He made a message. He said, Senator is in the conference. When he's finished, he'll talk to you. 3 hours he's sitting like this. So he came out of the conference. They told him that this guy is sitting. Okay, call him. He said, listen, you're the guy that we have been denying? Yes, sir. See, 3 times you denied, and we say, sir, whenever you have requested or somebody has requested, we have re-interviewed him. And again, we find the same, that he's unable to. And if he is unable to do this, the law doesn't permit me to issue the visa if he doesn't qualify. And this law was passed by the Congress.
Right.
I mean, you guys passed the law and I have to follow on the book.
Right.
So
checks and balances.
He did not issue. He did not issue. Ultimately, obviously, what happened, something might have happened. And then a chief of the visa section called him, the boy, again for interview, and he was satisfied. So he could issue. You can override, another chief can override if it's a genuine case. Mm-hmm. But the consul, who, in his opinion, based upon the documents, at that time they were looking at the papers, based upon the documents, based upon he wants to come and study hospitality law. And the question is, why would you complete the studies and then go back to India? Oh, my uncle will make a big 5-star hotel here. That's like stories. He has nothing to show. A plan, a papers, financials. Something consul wanted to see, the real or not. So that's the answer to the question. Just because a senator and congressman is sending a letter, it does not mean that.
Does not mean automatically, right?
Yes.
But there are certain advantages by virtue of the fact that you're going through a different outlet. There is, as you and I both know, there is a special conduit to which when a congressional inquiry is directed, it goes through a different channel than a normal inquiry.
Correct.
And that channel, for example, we know I believe in India, they're all going through New Delhi right now.
Yes.
So all congressional inquiries are going through New Delhi. And how they get parsed out to the various offices, that is sort of a behind-the-scenes thing.
Yeah, but what happens, David, what happens is that in the channels, when they have inquiry from a senator, congressman, they look at the case. They
Correct.
look at the
That's
case to
right.
reply properly.
That's right.
There have been some instances where the chief who's looking, or some officer, senior officer looking at it, he believes that it's okay to issue the visa. The previous visa was denial, and it's the facts that he has and the congressional inquiry is there, and he cannot say that we have interviewed, he doesn't qualify. If he appears that he qualifies,
Right.
then they will call him back and they issue the visa or tell him to reapply. Generally, these days they tell him, okay, reapply.
Reapply, yeah.
And then they'll issue the visa. They have done in some cases. Our cases, you know that, we did some cases. It happened.
That's right.
But as a course, general course, assuming a myth that you just have a senator's, congressman's letter going in, and if we were even if we were even recommending a senator's, congressman letter, there have been senators or congressmen talking to us. And I say before that, I mean, let's send the paperwork to the council first,
Right.
requesting for a reconsideration. And then there's a senator, congressman letter, the combination of the two, they already have the matter before them for review, and the congressional inquiry is there. They say, make both of them happy, all the three happy, lawyer, client, and the senator.
Exactly.
And because he qualifies, they realize.
Right. So next myth. Okay?
Yes.
Next myth? Okay.
Yes.
My F1 student visa has been denied by the American consul on 3 different occasions. I intend to pursue my studies at an Ivy League school in the United States. My family is financially well off, and they've agreed to prove new sufficient funds for my study. Upon completion of my studies, I will definitely return to India. I'm very upset, and I want to appeal to the concerned authorities in the United States or to a court of law to compel the consul to issue the visa.
Let me go to the facts of this case first. What this guy is saying looks like a very good case. If Ivy League, money is there, and there are guidelines from the Secretary of the State. David, a few years ago, I have a copy of memo in my office. When Condoleezza Rice was the Home Secretary
Secretary of Homeland. No,
she had issued a memo.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. She had issued a memorandum to all the consuls that they should not be looking at Ivy League or not Ivy League, not a community college or whatever.
Right.
They should not be looking the crystal ball
Right.
to look at the future of the person. They should
These-
only look at the intention of the person at the time application is made.
Right. The size and reputation of the academic
Should
institution
not.
is irrelevant.
So basically,
Right.
she was saying, and don't look at what he may do, he may not come back. He doesn't even know. He's a student going to college.
Right.
He can only decide after he finishes the college. So this was just open up to relax, to get in. It flowed. I mean, after the memo, I talked to every single consul in India. That you got this memo? He said, well, but this 214B is not removed. 214B still is there. This is a guidance that we understand already. So there's nothing new there. I'm just saying. So this is the way it works basically. But, this student here could think of other options. I don't know. There may be something there that after 3-4 denials, maybe he might have said something wrong in the previous applications. Maybe his story about going is not jibing. They study what he wants to study, why he wants to study.
Right.
Something is missing. There's a chain missing somewhere that causing the problem. That's one thing.
Yeah. Well, oftentimes, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we as lawyers don't see.
Yes.
And it could be that this individual has the name of someone who, let's say, was an undesirable and makes an assumption that that person, therefore, is undesirable because they have a similar name.
But there are options, A client like that comes to us, I'm looking at his education, his experience. He's a master's in engineering or something. I say, listen, forget all this. Just find an employer, will do your H-1B, and you can
Exactly.
forget all that.
Solves
His
the
question,
problem.
because I've been denied 4 denials, 10 denials, doesn't matter. As long as there was no fraud in the previous applications,
Right.
that doesn't matter. That was a 214B. This is not a 214B. So you will be 99% getting an H-1B. If the petition is right, all the information right, your education right, there are no issues on the H-1B. you will be able to get H-1B visa. You can come here and work also, study also.
Exactly, which may work for the individual, right?
Well, again, the time runs out very quickly. I wish sometimes
Goes
we get
fast.
a 3 or 4 hours of marathon program that we can do all the myths someday.
We'll see.
But
They say time flies when you're having fun.
having fun. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, David, very much. And next program, we'll probably talk something more about the myths and some other important issues or information that we'll be getting from the ELA conference. Thank you very much. Talk about the ELA material, something. We'll talk about the July cutoff dates
Yeah,
and then
sure.
some myths.
Yeah, exactly.
The first one, then we'll do
No
another.
problem. Well, I didn't even talk about the new program for,
Okay.
yeah. We
Cutoff
talked about
dates.
cutoff dates, and we talked about, I don't remember.
Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
हेलो, हमारे सभी दर्शकों को माइकल फुलवानी का आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, नमस्कार. David wants to do a greeting also. Let's see you do in Hindi.
Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal.
Very good.
Thank you.
Now, we know that you still are in the process of learning Hindi. So this program we are doing, we are just going over the English program that we did, and the viewers will have to wait for some period of time until you learn Hindi.
Long
So
period
guys,
of
stay
time.
tuned and just watch the program. Very interesting program. We have the July cutoff, June cutoff dates, and some other important information.
Closing. Closing.
Yeah. With closing, there is no.
Just Hindi, say Hindi.
Oh, Hindi. Acha, acha, right.
You did that in English, by the way.
Okay. तो अब आगे हमें समय नहीं है आज के लिए, तो इस यहाँ पर हम ये आज का प्रोग्राम समाप्त करते हैं. और आप याद करके हमेशा अगले प्रोग्राम्स जो आते हैं सैटरडे को और संडे को वॉच कीजिए. अच्छा से अच्छा इंपॉर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन हम आपको देते रहेंगे. और गुड बाय.